Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started with the festivities tonight. My name is Jess DePasquale. I'm on the Board of Police Commission in Weston, and I am chairman of the Citizen of the Year Committee. We also have some other distinguished commissioners here tonight. We have Peter Adamano with us. We have Beth Graunik with us. We have Dawn Egan with us. We have Woody Bliss with us. And along with the wonderful, and Susan, where's Susan? Hi, Susan. Okay. And Susan Mock. Bill Brady. Wow. I'm glad firemen are in the room. Bill Brady can't be with us till later in the evening. So we are here to recognize a wonderful Weston citizen who rises above the many tireless volunteers who make our town a wonderful place to live. Each year, this award is given to a distinguished citizen, and to Weston's 2017 Citizen of the Year Award goes to Stephan Grozinger. Stephan is very deserving. But I must say, there were many excellent and qualified people this year that were up for this wonderful and prestigious award. And it was very difficult for the Board of Police Commissioners to make this choice. It's always a hard decision, but in the final analysis, the accomplishment of Stephan's public safety and recognition with the board in his volunteer work in town and the many other things he contributes to made him rise above the rest. So congratulations in that regard, Stephan. I also want to say that we have a couple of other distinguished citizens here. We have Matt Brodacki, I believe, is in the room. Here he is. And Matt is our interim police chief, doing a great job in the last few months, guiding the Weston PD along with the police commission to keep our town extremely safe. Also, I would like to point out that we have Nina Daniel in the room tonight, and we're very happy that you could make it with us this evening. So I do want to say a few quick words about Stephan, and then we'll let all the other good people speak who are going to say interesting things. Stephan has been an active member of the Weston Fire Department since 1998. He's received numerous awards and certificates in that time period, and he won Firefighter of the Year both in 2000 and 2014. He's done a great job in his time on the Weston Fire Department. Stephan is a board member of the Aspetuck Land Trust, and he's also served on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and in that time he was chairman for 3 years. So we're very happy to have Stephan as Citizen of the Year. And I would like to bring up at this point Matt Brodacki to say a few words. Matt happens to be an old friend of Stephan, so who knows?
Stephan, is your wife here? Can you raise your hand? I'm going to start with an apology. Yeah. So I started my career in 1999, and everyone knows that Stephan is a public servant. He's been a volunteer firefighter for some time, and he's one of the highest responders. So I've had a little tradition on the way. We knew that Stephan would always come and get the fire engine when we had bad calls. So as I'm rumbling down the street with lights and sirens on, I would turn the siren off for a minute and get on the PA and yell, "Stephan, get up, go get the fire engine," as we're driving by. So I just wanted to start with an apology to you as well. But with that being said, I'll be short and sweet. Last year, we had 557 fire calls in this town. The town is, as everyone knows, is really made up with volunteers. And as I look around the room, many of you have donated a good portion of your adult life to volunteering and helping. But Stephan, I would like to genuinely thank you for your service. I know at 2 in the morning, it's much easier to lay in bed and just hear the sirens go by, but somehow you wrestle yourself out and put on your boots without pay or without compensation and come down and help out. So with that, I just want to say thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Jess.
Well, thanks, Matt. I would like to introduce Nina Daniels now to say a few words about Stephan. And let me get my...
All right, let me just make sure that I'm in the mic okay. Can everybody hear me?
That's not
Thank.
it just records it.
It's just recording it. Okay, fine. Well, first of all, in my official capacity, I'd like to thank the Police Commission, the Nominations Subcommittee, and Jess, its chairman, for hosting this event another year, for continuing a great tradition. This is an annual award, and it's always something that is looked forward to eagerly. I'd also like to say that the Citizen of the Year Award continues to celebrate the extraordinary residents who year in and year out contribute so much to the civic fabric of the community. I would like also to mention that our former Citizen of the Year, Margaret Wartenberg, is here tonight, working, as usual, in a volunteer capacity along with her husband, Al Wartenberg. So one of the requirements of this Citizen of the Year award is that you don't stop working after you got the award. You keep on volunteering, you keep on contributing. I would like to say particularly what an honor it is to congratulate this year's winner, a friend and a colleague for many of us, Stephan Grozinger. His years of volunteer service to the community have taken several pathways, notably in service to the Weston Volunteer Fire Department. Truly, our volunteer firefighters, and Stephan in particular, are being honored here as well in our granting this award. Would you mind raising your hands, those of you who are from the fire department and EMS? Wow. I have a name for you that I've had in my mind for a long time. You're a band of brothers and sisters, I understand. There are women also involved, so it's truly wonderful. So you're all being honored as well. Moreover, if you ever have seen a Weston volunteer firefighter in his full regalia and uniform, protective uniform, it's stunning. It's quite dramatic. And it was apparent to me that theirs is a potentially dangerous duty. So as a town, we are most grateful to Stephan and the other band of brothers that he works with. On another note, I'd like to mention that Stephan also, as an attorney, has been very generous with his time working pro bono in the community, which is something that has never been really highlighted. But I first began working with Stephan 7 or 8 years ago when we formed the Weston Friends of the Senior Activities Center. It's a 501c3 public charity, and the legal work was extensive. It was many pages that Stephan filled out for us. And I'd like to mention also that that was the time when a lot of public charities were not being approved by the IRS. We got approved in 2 months, when the average at that time was more like 7 or 8 months. And that's recognition of the legal work the quality of the legal work that Stephan does. Anyway, I don't want to continue any more than to say that in his nice, quiet, and unassuming way, Stephan has contributed mightily to our community. And I'd like to wish him now well in his future pursuits, which some of you may know include being a candidate for the Board of Selectmen. Truly, it's a privilege to stand here tonight to say thank you, Stephan, for all you do for Weston and for the quality person you are. Now, would you like to speak?
I know, yeah. And everybody's been extraordinarily kind and told me as I was coming in the door that I deserve this, and Jess has been kind, Nina's been kind, and let me tell you why I don't deserve it. As I said to the forum, this is an accident of geography. I, as you all know, live very close to the fire station. Dave Burns recruited me specifically because I live so close to the fire station. Not out of any competence, because I'm an attorney and I pretty much, as you all know, don't know much about anything else except for the law. So, but I can respond very quickly to Station 2 and grab the engine, and unlike most of my compatriots on the fire department, in order for me to get credit for a call, I just have to roll out of my driveway. I'm at the station in a few minutes and I sign on, and everybody knows that Stephan was on the call, where almost everybody else has to roll out of their driveway, sometimes cross town, and hope that the action isn't over by the time they arrive. So the recognition that I've received from the fire department is truly undeserved, and the recognition really belongs with the entire team of people who respond to fire and EMS calls throughout town, and the police too, of course, Matt. And I want to thank the Police Commission, though. This is an extraordinary kindness for me, and also a kindness to the town that you do this every year. I know you're very busy this year. You're looking for a replacement chief, and you're worried about your facilities. And it would have been very easy to say, okay, we're not going to do this year. We're going to concentrate on other things. But you do it, and that's one of those little kindnesses in town that, in the aggregate, I think make Weston what it is. And I think that is what the services, EMS and fire, do for the town as well. You know, the dirty little secret is that if EMS decided that this is just too much trouble, it's too much trouble to get up for these medical calls at 2 a.m., it's too much trouble to administer this program, it's too much trouble to raise the money in donations, it would be easier to tax Weston, we could hire a for-profit company, and they would station an ambulance somewhere in some parking lot with 2 paid EMTs. But what we would lose, I don't think we would necessarily lose medical care. I think their level of care would probably be fairly comparable, but we'd lose that human touch. And I've had the privilege of being hauled off in the ambulance now twice to the hospital, and I can so far. And I can tell you that seeing a friendly face in the back of that ambulance is incredibly important and incredibly comforting. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, the famous palliative care pioneer, said that when you're most terrified, and when you terminal care or whatever else, often what you don't need is necessarily the next bit of medical care, but you need somebody to be with you and have that human touch. I think she put it as, don't just do something, stand there. And I think what EMS does is they certainly do a lot, but they also are there in that human touch. So I really appreciate what they do. I was a MRT very briefly until I realized that I was a hypochondriac and I really had no business being in the back of that ambulance. So I quit that. And in the fire department, it's much the same way, really. You know, I've noticed a few things in my 18 or 19 years on the fire department. One is that house fires have very fortunately gone down. It used to be, even in the beginning of my career, just a few years ago, you could count on 2 or 3. Now there's maybe 1 a year, which is fantastic. Another thing is that I've noticed, at least the calls that I've been to, tend to be on straightaways rather than intersections and corners, which is very interesting. But more pertinent to this talk is the fact that when I get pulled aside and when somebody wants to tell me that the fire department has done a great job on a call, it's not because of our response time, it's not because of what we have done necessarily on that call, but again, it's that human touch. You know, somebody pulled me aside not too many months ago and said, my wife is in a car accident. A firefighter recognized her from town and held her hand while we were extricating her and while the EMTs were doing the job. And that to him was the most extraordinary thing, and I think it is the most extraordinary thing. And of course, you know, what the fire department does, what EMS does, and what the police do is not just of benefit to those people who dial 911. I think we enrich, as a team, the entire community. I was at Parent Island at the Memorial Day Fair, and a friend of my daughter's mother's was talking to me, and she made the most compelling argument for Weston I've ever heard. She said, you know, here we are in Parent Island, this kind of semi-autonomous community that happens behind the Memorial Day Fair as the kids have fun. She said, I feel perfectly safe with my daughter at that fair while I'm out of sight, because I know that the police are circulating through there, fire department personnel in their shirts are circulating through there, the EMTs are there, and most of us, because we're such a small town, would recognize her daughter and would never let any harm come to her, and know exactly who she is, which I think is just wonderful. It's what makes Weston truly unique. So I'm very grateful for the award, and I accept it on behalf of the fire department, EMS, and if I may, also the police department as well. Thank you very much.
Matt, come on up too. We'd like to present the Citizen of the Year Award 2017 to Stephan for his many years of service to the town of Weston in public safety and civic duty, helping to make Weston an exceptional town of involved citizens. Congratulations, Stephan.
My stomach in?
All right, so what we usually do now at this stage, before we go to refreshments and wine and cheese, is we give everyone or anyone the opportunity. Of course, that's what we need to. That's what simmer down. I'm used to that. But we give everyone a chance to say a few words. If anybody wants to come up and say anything about Stephan, you're welcome to do so. He's known around town, he's touched many lives.
I'm going to start doing refreshments.
I guess, Margaret, you're the first.
Yes, no one mentioned briefly about the planning and zoning. Stephan has done such a great job when he was there. He cleaned up the regulations, and he and I had this deal. He came to the Lake Eleven Swerpa to get the plan approved. When he did the plan, I made a point of not being on the committee to do it, so that I could sit there in Swerpa with all these other people sitting around who wanted to pick on Weston. And he came in and I said, I don't have to recuse myself. I have nothing to do with this. And it was a great job, and I say this
I'd just like to point out that Stephan's wonderful wife and daughter are also here with us today. Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. Please stay for refreshments.
Thank you.